The other thing that I found quirky this week, which I really didn't never thought about, Cam. I never thought about it, and I don't know if you guys have thought about it. Probably some of you have, but it was on the topic of graveyards, my friend.
Oh yes,
Graveyards.
graveyards.
Ah, graveyards. Fascinating idea because basically
It's
it set up his premise, Campbell, that wow, if you walk around the world, you will see graveyards, but they are full almost of graves from the 1800s and 1900s, 1900s predominantly. And they're all old, and you never see them expanding. And you never see churches expanding their territory because they're usually now in the middle of cities or whatever on the you never really you see new smallish areas with cremation maybe, but then if you look at how many people have died since the 1900s every year, Campbell, it's not adding up, my friend.
not adding up. No, they've worked out how many bodies you can put per acre, and then you can work out how many
Like
people have
1200 or
died.
something. It's like
Yeah, something like that,
1200.
about 1,200. And so you can work out how much land needs to be done every year, right? Because obviously you got the stats, and obviously it's millions and millions of people. And yeah, it doesn't add up. Just like everything we look into in this world, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it really doesn't.
so where are they going? And there's a
What?
few options, I guess. I mean, one would be there's not as many people as they tell us, which would lead on to are they NPCs? Are they just holograms that just flicker out? Who knows? Anything's on the table at this point. Or is it more nefarious? There was that guy who was a gravedigger who came out. He was in the US, and he was saying that he was putting a grave in or something. They were lowering it, and they had to pull it out for something, and he picked it up, and it was really light. And then it went down this rabbit hole, and there was no body in there. And all these other people come out and said, yeah, that lots of them don't have bodies, and blah blah blah. And so I guess that rabbit hole probably would get a bit nefarious if you went down
Oh,
it.
it's a fascinating one because
Weird
like
one.
I mean the video that I watched was talking about that in America, like even if you take away the percentage of people that choose cremation, which I think sucks by the way, I think that's a Baal practice. I think that's a fucking Baal practice. I don't think it's what is meant to happen. I feel like you need to be returned to the earth to bring your consciousness back into the earth. It's like and you continue to live. I just, yeah, the
Yeah, well,
cremation
you
thing.
re-give life, I guess, too, right? But yeah, yeah, cremation is a bit fire, sacrifice, the god of fire,
Fire, yeah,
you
it's fucking
know?
fire sacrifice, man. And like, if I die, Cam, this is what I want to happen, right? I want you just to dig a hole and put me in it, right? That's all what I want to happen. That's it. I don't want a box or any wrapping or any like stuff. I just want to be in the ground covered in soil. The whole idea of caskets is really unusual as well. And did you know that when we go back to say it, and again, this is the States, I don't know what it is in Australia. We should have researched this. Um, but in America, like if you put, they always used to
Yeah.
bury the bodies in the backyard of the family. Always was that way. But
Mm.
if you do, if but that puts your property into a specific, do you remember what it was? A specific
Is it like it's something to do with like hallowed ground? Yeah.
yes. And then from that moment on, you cannot you can't your house can never be taken away. Your ground can never be taken away from you, not by the banks, by the mortgages, not by defaulting, not by any reason can it be taken off your family because it's hallowed ground.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, the family plot, like we used to hear, like the family plot, right?
yeah.
And they'd all be buried with just, yeah, the family, right? Now everyone, it's a bit like the blood and the beef, right? Everyone's just put in together, right? But yeah, I mean, I don't know let us know if you know the Australian law, but I mean, that's a good way, especially from the US, right? Um, just wait for someone, don't, but
Yeah,
if
so
someone dies, yeah, bury them in your backyard.
So I'm sure there's a law that tells you can't do that now, but in so yeah, they were saying they took all the cremations out of it statistically, then they were conservative in their estimates, but based on the information that
And,
gets
and I
given on the
believe that
statistics.
it was 33 and 66%, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Of course. But it still ended up that in the States, basically annually, 130 million people need burying. And in the States, they allocate a certain percentage of land, and there's an amount of bodies per land. And when you add all that up, there's a massive shortfall, like literally 100 million people a year
A year.
shortfall.
Yeah.
and then go back through till the 1900s, like
Hmm.
yearly. So and then repeat that in all countries, Australia, you know, the UK, which I've traveled in so much, and you really don't see like the equivalent of cemeteries and graveyards equal to the amount of people who must have passed in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And so it really, now that we've mentioned it, do take note of it. Go for a walk
Yeah. Have you ever
in,
seen a new cemetery go up?
yeah,
Walk through a cemetery, they're new plots. And this has all got, to do with the population, right? And people disappearing at all. I don't know. This world that we believe that we lived in is kind of falling apart, right? Everywhere we're looking now, it's just
yeah.
becoming more and more unreal.
More and more unreal. And how interesting are the concept of graves to begin with? Like, if we really look at it, like, as because it's almost like it's just been painted in as a background set. Like, because if you go to the churches and you go to the graveyards, you're going to see these fallen, broken down, really aged, like tombstones and cracked. And you think, wow, this graveyard is now like prime real estate, but they can never do anything with it because like they can't put people on top of it, they can't like go up, they can't go out, they can't like, and so it stays there like a set, like a relic, like like to
Mm.
validate that we die, to remind us that that is inevitably what's going to happen to us, but it never changes. It doesn't
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
it's very stagnant and it's like very stuck and stiff, and at the most you might see a new little acre or something that has cremation tombstones on it, but certainly not to the numbers required for the population that's passed, apparently. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting
True,
concept,
man.
Cam.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments. Yeah, have you got any more info on this? Because yeah, I've been to some old ones, and they're just these decrepit things that never change, right? It's just weird. But we've probably all seen those or been to those. But yeah, as far as new ones,
I
what's
mean,
going
the
on?
discrepancy in the US is insane,
Oh,
right? I
it's
mean, 100
ridiculous.
million,
Well,
like that's a
that's a billion every decade.
what is that? Like that's an insane number. You can't there's no maths that would work that out. There's no you can't
Like,
deny that
mm,
that's a, so I mean all you can think is that it's all fake. That
yeah,
the numbers are fake
it's got to be. And
because that we believe the population statistics are fake, right? So then the
yeah, for
death
sure.
statistics have to validate the population statistics. So it's
Mm,
all fake, all those numbers. So that's a trip
it's
of
made
an
up. Yeah,
idea.
yeah.
You can literally go and see the fakeness of it by actually analyzing this graveyard concept
Mm,
question, little mini rabbit hole.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's just more evidence, right? That the people aren't there. It's not there. Like it's which we've seen all over the place. Anyone who's traveled would have seen this. There's not people everywhere. Well, I don't know how many, a billion, maybe two. Who knows? Definitely not 8 billion. Because they say that the population of the world doubled, I think, from 1850 to 1950, I think it was. But it was statistically impossible
And
for.
it is, isn't it interesting, Cap? Like that fucking wherever we look through the Tartarian lens, always we get to the question is where are all the bodies? Whenever we look through history, the question is fucking
Yeah,
same. Where are all the bodies? You know, like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
actually quite mad if you think about all the wars and all the resets and all the cultures and stuff and all the mythical beings that we think were genetically modified during those times, and like where are all the bodies? Where are all the skeletons? Where are all the giant skeletons? But like what happens to the bodies? I just think it's followed us through this trail for
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, it
decades,
has.
that
What's
question.
going on? Maybe we are just energy. And when we die, we just disappear in a puff of light.
I mean, I know people. I have passed my grandparents and
Mm.
my friend last year. Like I have been through the whole process several times this lifetime, and all of them chose cremation. So I don't know what it would mean to not have chosen cremation, and maybe that's just been going on forever. Maybe I just don't know, Cam. It's a bizarre
It's a
concept,
bizarre
and
one, yeah. Well, we should probably get into that one a bit more. I think we could sort of do a bit more of a deep dive on, the proper with everything that we've that we now know, right? Like it's all pointing to the fact that there's just not the people, then there never has been.
I know.
And you kind of broke the story, right, when you went to China. Like we're told, the most populous country in the world, and it's empty. And now it's
Empty
coming
man.
out earlier this year. It
Yeah.
came out with big
Yeah.
time that it's empty.
It's empty. And
So,
like when do you ever hear of like a new house going up and they're digging out the ground and they come across bodies? Like where did all the bodies go in the middle in the Dark Ages or in any of the last and where have all the bodies gone? All those civilizations that apparently came and went, the Vikings, the Romans, the Greeks, the fucking Phoenicians, all of those civilizations, all the Canaanites and all the civilizations and all the marvelous cities and all the cities that are on all those maps that we look at, like where did they get buried and why don't we come across it? Why don't when we're excavating land to put up new buildings, which we've done infinitely, like do we not hear stories of people digging up bodies? Like
mm.
how deep are they? How I mean, like how where it's just what?
I know it's weird, right? Like the only other place you'd get that, a world filled with old world buildings and this big history and everything, and but no bodies is a video game, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it wasn't written
Ooh,
in.
that's very fucking observant, Cam. Absolutely, yes, that is true. Like you would only find that in a video game. They would not write that in.
They
That's
wouldn't
not a
run it
detail
in.
necessary.
Exactly.
Ooh, do 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 do.
Oh,
I
where are
mean,
we? Is it all just a
yeah.
game? The game of life.
So, well, yeah, I mean, of course, and like one has to say, where did China go? Where's the Chinese people gone from China? Like,
Mm.
and China's not the only place. It's not the only place, and all these wars that we've watched and all the trauma from like, gosh, I mean, just if you summed
Well,
up
I mean,
World War One and Two,
it's
there's
like
like what hundreds of
Palestine.
million.
Like they've been throwing, rockets at Palestine for decades, right?
Yeah,
I always just wonder how there's anything left.
yeah,
Because you see the total devastation after, when we see
yeah.
pictures, it's like, how can there be anything left there? It's
That's
the same
true.
thing, right? It's like this story that doesn't
Like a
ever really
set.
change. Like I said, right? Yeah, it doesn't ever
Yeah,
really, it's just
that's
always
true.
this war-torn, desolate kind of country. But I mean, it should be getting worse, right? Because they're not,
That's
it's just
true.
one of those weird things.
That is true.
Like,
And
so
if you,
it's all a set, maybe, right? They
yeah.
tell us all the world's
And
a stage.
honestly, like, if you go through those videos that we've suggested, like you'll see that the numbers in those time periods, which were very close together, there were hundreds of millions, man, like hundreds of millions. Like this is not just a small scale event. This was not capable of being I
Mm,
mean, the numbers that present, and again, we don't know if that's true. Who goes those numbers? Where do they come from when they go to these wars and then give us a statistic that there was 200 million people killed? Like, who, what? No one counted that. Where's that come from? Like, it's just like no country was amalgamated enough to come up with a final statistic. Every country involved all had their own take. It's like, I just wonder where that information comes from. But just if it's true, then we have very little evidence of that amount of mass genocide being under our ground,
mm,
literally under
yeah.
our ground. And what if the
Mm.
ground eats us?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, but it doesn't explain, yeah, the cemeteries today. But I mean, it could explain, and ultimately, I guess it does. But don't they say that bones always remain? That's why we're always finding bones. Everything breaks down, but your skeleton, I guess,
Well,
eventually.
that's what we've been taught.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we've
the
been
bones
told.
should be less.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
But
know.
but it
Maybe
doesn't
the body.
explain, yeah, today's, quandaries, right? With the cemeteries and all this kind of stuff and people disappearing and not enough people being there. It's or is it all us rising in vibration, like going up in timelines? But and so where we are, China used to have people. How does it work? Um, well, there's no people there, but we remember people there, don't we? So
It's interesting because
it's
what I can sort of theorize here
twisting my
is
brain.
that we don't really have evidence of the organic beings dying much. Like actually, if we really look at it, like. the numbers are all fucked and inflated and whatever they want to tell us. The earth itself is pretty good and thriving and very much healthy and happy. Like I don't very often see landscapes that aren't, and I have, but no, they're not common. Everywhere I fly and go, it's green. It's pretty thriving. The so like nature is not dying. And the animals, like I physically with my own eyes don't see mass death of animals. I have never. And the drought maybe a bit, the floods maybe a bit, but like as far as the animal kingdom goes, it seems pretty thriving. And like yes,
It's a good
we've
point.
all
Like you
had
don't see
grandparents.
dead birds, really that much, but you would think that there would have to be lots and lots and lots of them. Right? There's birds
Yeah, because they
everywhere. They
have
would have
a
to be.
short lifespan, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's animals
exactly.
are meant to have short lifespans. We don't
Yeah,
often
yeah.
see.
So they should be dying all the time, and at least you'd at least see a couple, you would think. But if you see a dead bird, it's like, whoa, what
It's
the hell?
unusual.
Yeah,
That's
it's
so true,
unusual.
you know?
Yeah, we're going to be live in Mullaney on the 19th of July next month,
Yep.
from 9 to 5. So tickets selling fast. Get one. And it is the We Have Been Invaded tour, where we are going to talk about the invaders and answer the question, who are they? Who is
Yeah, who are
this
they?
they? Who
Who
are
are
they?
they? This is a very unique show for Cam and I. This is probably the first time we've done something like this where we've actually honed in on a topic within the consciousness of our movement. And we're going to spend all day and we are going to go through what we believe our theory is on when this all started, when this invasion started, who are the invaders, how it's brought itself through our history all the way through this very obscured timeline that we have, which cannot be relied on at all. Looking at that, obviously, and then taking into the current day how that all links to current day events. And also, of course, because we are Tartaria Australia, we can't leave on a bad note, Campbell. So we will be leaving on a what we feel like I feel like we've had some deep insights on our role and purpose going through working this show out, and I'm really excited to present them to everyone at this event. I think you will all find it an extremely satisfying event. It's going to be full audio visual the whole day, and Campbell and I on stage speaking the whole day. So of course you get your breaks and you get your chicken dance and you get your lunch and we're going to have there will be a social afterwards, whether it be at the local pub behind us
Well,
or at the venue
at the
itself.
venue itself, maybe,
Yep, I'll
yeah.
confirm that. So we can stay and do our normal fucking thing, which is usually like drinking wine and finding somewhere to smoke and laughing till midnight. So basically, consider this for the Tartarian Australian community of Sunshine Coast and Brisbane and the Gold Coast and right up to Rockhampton and Gympie and all the way down and everywhere else you are. But come, this is our 2025 like Tartaria Australia party for our community in Queensland. So we'd love to see you all there again. I encourage you to make the effort because it's always less about the information and always about the gathering of the souls. So if you're
Yes.
in our area or anywhere within an 8 hour realm of our area, make the fucking effort. Come. It's on the 19th of July. And I'm excited. Come and gauge us. Come and see how we do with this sort of show. Like it's a
Hey,
much more like David Icke
Joe,
style than we've ever
bring
done
your
before.
scorecards.